I want to talk to you today about the premise of reordering the digital landscape. Let's talk about the confusion that we're currently experiencing. There's 7 billion people on the planet. 50% of these under the age of 30. They've never known life without the internet. What's really interesting in my mind, there are 6 billion mobiles. Out of those 6 billion mobiles, there's 1 billion of those are smartphones. 57% of us that have a smartphone rather speak to people digitally than analog. In fact, if you were to call my desk phone in New York, just for shits and giggles, it forwards to a florist in New York City on one of those 57%. What's also interesting is 48% of us have bought something, so we're heavily transacting. There are 2 billion people connected to the internet, and 70% of people online read blogs. But what's also interesting is that times really changed when I grew up in Australia. This is the country I'm from. This is the house I grew up in as a kid. This is my family. I'm one of 10 kids, so 12 people in a 2-bedroom house can drive you to therapy. However, for me, freedom, independence, and self-expression came when you bought a car. When you're 17, 18 years old, that was kind of when you're able to do that. But now you guys are born connected. The ability to say that there's a switch that's come on and we don't know how to quite switch that off. What's really interesting is work and leisure have now combined to be this thing called life. We walk around with 2 cell phones, you might as well rubber band those 2 things together. That's kind of the world we live in today. There is no blend. Fragmentation is the world we live in. So we've gone from portals, search, blogs, feeds, aggregators, and the rise of the mighty social network. Well, no, social networking is not new. It's been around for quite some time. But the themes are the ones that I really want you to lock on are these. Participation, conversation, openness, community, connectedness. These are the themes that won't change. These are things that rotate around social, not brands. Right. You very quickly moved away from the information age to the social age. That's where you guys have grown up, no doubt. This is the image of the moment by an artist, Greg Olson. Yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And you guys have seen this posted to your social account, no doubt. I like the last one. I'm good at peeing. So this is the kind of the world we're in right now. What's really fascinating is we're just one click away from your most inner, deep thoughts. One click away. So personal expression has become the new form of entertainment. We all know it. That's what social's allowed us to do, and we're all on it constantly. We're looking at our multiple screens. But what we're doing to have those expressions is we're sharing and consuming content. So we consume content, we share it in the social networking experiences, we share it with email, we share it with others, the way that you'd expect. So those habits aren't changing, but what we are doing is consuming more and more content and wanting to share that content. Creates a lot of noise though, however. What's also interesting is it's been a land grab for likes. So lots of brands, I get to speak to brands across the globe, a lot of them actually say, I just want likes, man. Just give me likes. Well, that's rubbish because it's a diluted concept. Back in the day, we used to have to be friends. And a friend request, once accepted, was skin in the game. Now, you can like my shoes, my pants, my belt, my jacket without liking me as an individual. So I think that's completely diluted. What's also interesting is the people or brands that actually are winning around like are what you'd expect, entertainment, restaurants, and food. Because people shop there. They love special deals, which means we love couponing, and they also want to be treated like VIPs. So just like you do in your natural habits, when it comes to liking a brand online, it's very, very similar. This is Social Brilliant. This is the country of Sweden, who actually said, you know what, we're so confident about our country. If you would like to be the voice of this country, you can have our social account for a week. Brilliant. This is also Social Brilliant. This is Burberry. So Burberry realized it means that people were following them around London Fashion Week. So what they thought was, how do we give VIPs back? How do we give this acts of love? So what they ended up doing was tweeting out photographs of the models right before they stepped onto the catwalk, so we got to see them before the likes of Anna Wintour did. So that's the value of where we're in today. That's the environment of digital. What's also interesting, I'm a victim of Sandy, and so we've actually seen, more importantly, the grown-up social web. The ability to say, we will go to our social accounts first to see what's going on with breaking news before we go to the authorities to approve it. So that's the sort of thing that we're involved in right now. What's really interesting is that digital behaviors have also changed. So we've been in the game as a marketeers to entertainment and information for many, many years. That's what brands are trying to do to express to you guys, no doubt. But the new is utility. Utility is just be useful. If you're able to be useful in somebody's day-to-day brand, then you will actually, or day-to-day life, you actually become part of the usefulness of what they're actually doing. So in the habits of people's behaviors, if you're able to be part of that experience on digital, especially when it comes to cell phones, then you're really going to be part of that. Let's stop calling this thing the second or third screen It is clearly the first screen. Every single one of you probably have a device like this. Nobody walked in here with a television, so clearly it's more than just the second or third screen. What's also interesting is we're downloading fewer apps, we're just spending more money on them. So people are now going through app fatigue where they're like, well, I just now need to go back to my habits. Although we have these devices, it doesn't change our patterns of having less is more. We love location. And those of us who are marketeers love location for a couple of reasons. We're aware of what people are doing in the context of what they're doing it in, which we've never done on desktop. And we also understand there's new data that we can actually use to scour. It's very important for marketeers to consider that. What do we actually do with the data to be able to understand what people are doing in the mobile space? It's very, very rich for us. Solo-mo, you guys may have heard this term. It means social, local, mobile. We've been touting it as an industry for the last several years. It means if you can get people right down to where they transact, that's the utopian moment. Social, local, mobile. Where it really should be called homo. I probably should have had more fun with this slide too, but I thought I'd keep it G-rated. But here's the deal. 68% of mobile minutes are performed in the home, meaning mobile isn't out. Mobile isn't mobile. Mobile is not what we considered it to be. All right. Clicker work. What about this environment? Lean back, lean in, lean back. So this is 25 years ago or so, we've been sitting on our sofas pointing a remote control at a TV. That's lean back. Lean in is we're hunched over a keyboard with a mouse. That's the lean in environment. Now we're back on the sofa, still pointing a remote control at the TV, but now we've got a 10-inch tablet burning a hole in our crutch. That's the new lean back environment that we're living in. Do we love it? We love it as marketeers because you know what? People are actually spending more money than desktop users today and smartphone users who are actually holding a tablet in their hand. What's also interesting is that they love sales. High conversion, high order value, meaning there's something about that liquid screen that makes people want to actually transact as quickly as possible. Now, we know that women rule the world. Amen to that, brothers and sisters. But what's really interesting is that men currently have a high usage of tablets than women. So if we're marketing to men, tablets are really the way we should be marketing first. Men are on top when it comes to actually mobile buying, which is quite surprising, but that's something that we should consider as well as we sort of market to blokes moving forward. And those of us who walk around with a tablet versus a cell phone only have a different appreciation of value, which you'd probably expect. There's something, again, about that 10-inch screen that gives us a different and higher appreciation for value and goods. What about augmented reality? So I'm a digital dude. Augmented reality has been around for 16, 17 years, and a lot of people come up to me and say, if you love augmented, show me some examples that really, really help. Here's an example of sort of something I saw recently that showcases augmented reality. If I could get the sound up, lads, that would be fantastic. Or not. So that will give you an example of what augmented looks like. So what this is unique is for two reasons. One, the tablet is moving independently to the target, which is very rare. So we're seeing two things working independently here. Let's punch that sound up a bit, lads, if you don't mind. And now what we're seeing here is interactive augmented, the ability to actually interact with objects. So it's really quite amazing. If you really do need more convincing on how powerful the LED screen is, check this thing out. Yeah, serves him right. I also saw this thing which is really interesting, and that is, you know, Band-Aid came out with a limited edition Muppet series. So when you put this Band-Aid on your kid's owies, you wipe over your tablet or your smartphone and suddenly the characters come to life on screen. Now kids can interact with their favorite characters, which I think is really interesting. Toyota Cars also came up with something interesting last year where they realized that kids love to be the backseat driver. So what they decided to do was build an app that allowed kids to be able to drive the same contour roads that their parents are driving, but in cartoon language. Beautifully interactive, no doubt. So the big thing that we're all trying to target on as consumers, as marketers, is attention. Attention is the new currency, not click-through. We're not trying to get you to click on things anymore. We want you to hold fast in terms of your attention rate. That's really the new thing that we're trying to drive to in digital. And a lot of brands that I talk to want to be curators of conversations, not just of content. The two-way dialogue is something that's brand new as we move forward when we're thinking about how to capture the hearts and minds of consumers. How do you do it? Here's an example of a branded experience that's wrapped around video. Can I get the volume up, please, lads?
TGV!
Yeah!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
Right, nice to meet you. You alright?
Oh my god.
There you go. The microphone. No, I've got the rubber duck.
You got the rubber duck.
Oh my god!
Can I get in?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Should we do some things?
Aw. Yeah, if you didn't tear up, you're a hardened bastard. But here's the deal. David Beckham does not work for free. And there, in every one of these 2-minute 30 clip, there's a very blatant brand there that's Adidas, but it works exceptionally well in comparison to this thing.
Darling, please rescue me. Take me out.
So, in the example of reordering the digital landscape, this is an example of a video that was rumored to be a hoax seeded by Apple. It's a young band who had their instrument stolen. They're on the train to upstate New York. They broke out their iPhones and did an impromptu jam session, got caught on a camera and took off. So it doesn't matter whether it's blatantly branded like the Beckham video or it's subtly branded like this thing. If it's great content, we as consumers love to pass it around. That's the value of the digital landscape here. Right, so we're also revolutionizing the advertising space. There's a bunch of companies out there, including the AOL of this world, trying to create new environments for you. You'll hear the word native advertising. You'll hear the word harmonious ads used a lot. It's basically all around dashboards. It's the concept of saying you probably don't check your Facebook profile too often or your Twitter profile or your Tumblr profile too often. You're checking your dashboard. You're checking the timeline. You're checking the tweet streams. So in those environments, brands are starting to actually advertise in those, and that's what we're calling dashboards. Now, I think as an industry, though, we're going to move away from generic advertising. It's something you guys have been influenced by for many years, and we're going to move into influencer marketing because the social media space will allow us to do that. We're also going to move away from behaviors and assumptions, which retarget you today, so it understands your patterns of where you go, and it'll go into actions and specifics. So understanding specifically what you're trying to do and the action you're about to be meditating. Okay, this is an example of Snapchat and Poke. Can I see a raise of hands? Who's actually used Snapchat? A couple of scumbags in the room, that's awesome. What's really interesting about it is that it obviously allows you to send out a 3-second disposable video. This is the one done by Facebook, this is Poke. So what happens with this is an example of brands interrogating that video environment. So this is a young lady, she's getting cheekily getting dressed and somebody's taking a snap video of her. As she slams the door, what falls down is an advertisement, say one-time sale for lingerie. And then she pokes it to all her friends. So it feels like a one-to-one relationship on multiples. This is the world we're moving to of disposable ads if these things become contagious, like the Poke and the Snapchats of this world. This is the average click-through rate for banner ads. So when you actually see the web and you click on those banner ads, it's 0.02%. But what's really interesting is we spoke to AKQA about this dilemma and said, we think there's a way that you can do all the things you try and do in digital advertising today embedded inside the website in the same context. So they went out and developed this for us, which they said, well, why don't we do a concept? What if we take a charity and we were to build an ad that was dynamic, meaning we commission an artist to do an original art piece, and we will bid that through an auction series, and then we'll actually socialize it. So what happens now, instead of clicking away from banner ads, you can actually come back into it and allow people to actually transact and do all the things you expect them to do away from where you're advertising. So as an industry, we're changing. We're changing from what was really, one click away to now being video, apps, social, and commerce, all embedded inside the environment where people are reading, the context. So instead of spending billions of dollars of driving people away from your website, you can drive them straight back in and transact as if you wanted one click away. Really important. So what are brands going to do to move along? They're going to change away from campaigns and chatter and into conversations. That's how they're going to sort of delight you lot. They're going to move into conversation mode. And to do that, though, brands must be remarkable, reactive, and relevant to be actually captivating for the hearts and minds of consumers. And to do that, it needs to be authentic, and it needs to have active engagement, meaning they need to feel like they're a proper friend as opposed to just a contact. We are moving, as I said, from the information age to the social age, but we're very, very, very quickly moving to the interest age, meaning I'd much rather hang out with like minds than hang out with a whole bunch of generic people. So that's the environment that I think we're going to move to here very quickly as we move on with digital. We're going to see more curated experiences, meaning as you actually go through your day-to-day, curated experience will cut through the noise and cut through the clutter. And so you see much more of those sort of beautiful curated experiences that help maintain your attention. We'll see niche sites blow up to be mainstream, and we'll see mainstream sites become really niche. So they'll become really popular, and then they'll come back to being really based around like minds. We'll see more of this. The seamless things. So we're going to see faceless internet, so the ability to open my car door without actually using a key. I'm able to recharge my phone in a bag because there's an actual charger in this Richard Nichols bag. So it's actually an iPhone charger native to the bag itself. And it's a faceless internet. There's also a pair of jeans that has a Bluetooth-enabled device in the pocket. So instead of me scrambling to get my phone out of my pockets, I just press my pocket now, and it tells people where I'm located. So this is where we're going in terms of the social denim. This is the fabric of where we're headed. We're also going to participate when it comes to participating in social and participating across the web, not via comments, not via typing, but via video, audio, photos, and in real time. That's going to be the new participation that we're actually going to want as consumers. And don't worry about online and offline. We're going to talk about it as awake and asleep. We're always online. That's the mode we're going to look at. And by the way, don't worry about social as a place you go. It's a thing you do. In the future, it's just going to be like a water and electricity. It's just a utility. When I think about the 3 states of online, I think about my world, very close to my family. And then I think about my friends, that's our world. And then I think about everyone else's world, and that's their world. They're the 3 dynamics that I think about when I think about what's going on. I think we move into a world of renting everything, owning nothing, meaning the things that you do decide to purchase, you purchase them by very thoughtfully making those decision patterns. And I'm definitely the data point of one of those in those points. So if I make a decisive decision to buy something today, it's not typically for consumption, it's for heirloom, right? Screens are going to work together as well in the near future, meaning that as I'm watching television in my living room, that TV ad will actually push something to my device and push something to my 3-inch device as well. Today, it doesn't do that. If I see something, I then have to research it. It's passive. So we're going to move to this dynamic environment. We'll have more screens, like more sort of shorter screens like that, like phones with faces. We'll see the interpersonal computer. This is an example of a coffee table that's designed to have the family recongregate around the living room dining table. Interesting concept. So interpersonal relationships. You're going to hear these words called big data. Big data is basically lots and lots of big data to help you make those very small personal decisions like don't drive home today, take the subway because it'll get you home faster. So how do we put calm in the chaos? Well, the question for me really is simple. We need to build better human experiences. So use it digital, online, to build better offline experiences.
Good. Wait. Good boy. Here. Good. Wait.
Turn on the ignition. Let's go. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good boy. Good boy. Baby.
Ride with me
Good boy.
on the streets right now.
So brands are going to come up with smarter ideas like this actual experiment by this rescue dog company and Mini, and captivate the hearts and minds of users by producing amazing experience so you guys can fall in love with them. But I would argue that, because there is the 3 colors that make up every painting in the universe, red, blue, and yellow, these are the 3 colors you guys can use to make up any digital experience. It's technology, it's content, and distribution. And lastly, Steve Jobs totally got it right. A lot of times people don't know what you want until you show them. So if we can build liquid content that fuels conversations, connections, and engagement, we'll have a better experience and better storytelling. And lastly, I would argue that when I saw this poster at New Yorker last year, this is the front cover, this is the world we're moving into, where you look at these devices. So as much as we've got all this digital and all these devices, I've never, ever, ever felt so alone. So I would say, as much as we are the connected generation, my friends, I think the next step we need to move into is the connection generation. Thanks very much. Cheers.